Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be making a little bit of a different video. I want to talk about Amharic, the language, and particularly the grammar. And so uh, let's just get right into it, guys. This is going to be more of an intermediate video for people that can already read the alphabet of Amharic and have some understanding. Why I'm just jumping into an intermediate video is because there's already a lot of beginner content out there on YouTube, and so I just want to um, just put in some maybe potentially more new content because it's easy enough to make a video about the Hanana, the Nanish, and Daytona, uh, just the basics. So this is why I'm doing this. So let's get started. So the verb that we're going to be using as an example is madowal, which means to call. Um, this is the infinitive version of that verb. So just in the simple perfect tense, to say I called is dawalku. And to say you called is dawalsh. To say you called again is dawalk. The difference here is, of course, there's two U's, right? One is for a female, one is for a male. In English, of course, there's just one U for both people. From there, there's dawala, there's dawalach, dawalan, dawalan, dawalilachu, and then there is dawaluf to say they called. Dawalilachu is for you called, but this is a plural you, which means it's more for you guys. You can think about it as a you guys. Uh, for yeah, you guys. That's how we would colloquially say it in English, I think. So the object suffixes. Um, in Amharnia, you could say a full sentence to say lanta dowelku, which means to you. Lanta means to you. I called here dowelku. Um, and this should be a wa in the first version. This is a typo here. You'll see in the first page you saw the wa. Anyways, this is a full sentence, but you can say the same thing in one word. Um, so you could say dawul kuleh, which is the exact same meaning as here, lanta dawul ku, but condensed into one word. You can see there's two parts to this word here. There's the dawul ku part, and then there's the leh part. So this is I called you to say you for a male, and also note that the verbs, as if you understand me up until now, you probably already know that in Amharic the verbs are at the end of the sentence as well. So you guys note at the very end of all of the words, these are the suffixes. The reason why I'm saying object suffixes and more accurately pronoun object suffixes is because uh, these are suffixes meaning they're at the end of the word, right? And then the nye, the l, the sh, t, chu, cho, ne, that represents somebody. This represents we. This represents the pronoun we. This represents the pronoun them. This represents the pronoun you all. This represents the pronoun her. Uh, she. This represents the pronoun he, and so on. You, and I. So that's why they're called pronoun suffixes because they're attached to the end of the word. If you guys will see from the previous page, at the very end, there's lish, let, lat, lachu, lacho. And so there's a lot of combinations as well when you think about it, because um, for every pronoun, for every uh, person, I guess, for I, for you, for me, for him, for her. There's 8 or so combinations. So there's a lot of combinations, but there's a pattern as you guys will see. So Dawul Kulih is I called you. Dawul Kulish is I called you for female. That's why M is for male and F is for female. Dawul Kulet is for I called him. Dawul Kulat is I called her. Dawul Kulachu is I called you for uh, I called you guys, you being a P for plural, Dawul Kulachu. Then there is Dawul Kulacho. I called them. There's Dawulinale. We called you Dawulin. So this is for I to other people. Now this for we. For we is going to start with Dawulin, right? So notice there's a pattern, you know. First here, everything started with Dawul Ku, and then it had the different ending, right? Here it's going to start with Dawulin, because it's Dawulin means we called. Because after that, it's we would say Dawulin Leh, Dawulin Lish, we called you. Dawulin Let, we called him. Dawulin Lat, we called her. Dawulin Lachu, we called you guys. Um, Dawulin Lacho, we called them. So we can see more of the combinations. This is going to be for you as a female. Dawalishlin, you female called me. Dawalishalet, you called him. Dawalishalat, you called her. Dawalishlacho, you called them. Dawilishlin, you called us. And then for you for male, Dawilkalin, you called me. Dawilkalet, you called him. Dawilkalat, you called her. Dawilkalet, you called him. Dawilkalacho, you called them. And then Dawilkalen, you called us. And um, also, there's like two versions in the U. Sometimes people say Dawilk, some people say Dawilih, but I think Dawilk is more, both of them, but you don't commonly hear Dawilih. I think it's more common to hear Dawilkalin. But sometimes words have two different variations depending on the region where you're from or your accent. So here, this is for him. Dawalilin, he called me. Dawalilah, he called you. Dawalilish, he called you again. Dawalilet, he called him. Dawalilat, he called her. Dawalilachu, he called you guys. Dawalilacho, he called them. Dawalilin, he called us. And then for her, it's Dowalechlin, she called me. Dowalechlih, she called you. Dowalechlish, she called you again for female. Uh, Dowalechlih being for male, right? Dowalechlet, she called him. Dowalechlat, she called her. Dowalechlatchu, uh, she called you guys. Dowalichilacho, she called them. Dowalichilin, she called us. And notice this time, for he and she, there's 8 different combinations. If you count these from top to bottom, there's 8 different combinations. Here, there's only 6, and here there's only 6. It's because for here, there's you can say he called you, but for here you can't say you called you, right? That doesn't make any sense. So that doesn't exist in Amharic. Or you called you guys. That doesn't make any sense. So 3 of the combination options have been removed for some Here, to have been. You can't say, for example, I called me. Uh, that doesn't make any sense, at least in Amharic. You can't say you called you. Even in English, that doesn't make sense. So that's why these have less combinations. But you can say he called you guys, he called me. That's why there's so many combinations in this one. Um, if um, if you noticed. So then for the final page here, this for the plurals being they or you guys. So dowalulin means they called me. Dowalule means they called you. This should be you. They called you male. Dowululish means they called you female. Dowlulet means they called him. Dowlulat means they called her. Dowlulachuhu means they called you guys. Dowlulacho uh, means they called them. There's a subtle difference. Dowlulachuhu means they called you guys, and then Dowlulacho, on the other hand, means they called them. And then here, Dowlachuhuling means you guys called me Dowlachuhuling, because from there's Dowlachulet, uh, right? So you guys called him Dowlachulat. You guys called her Dowlachulacho. So you guys called them, and then here Dowlachulin. So you guys called us. Uh, so these there's a lot of different combinations, and these are called object suffixes, like we said, um, because of the object pronouns, the pronouns that they have at the end. And so that's today's lesson. Let me know what you guys think, if it's any helpful, if it's helpful at all. Thank you.